Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about conducting scientific research as a student, and I'm going to focus on your supervisor. And my presentation will have the following outline. First, I'm going to talk about your research supervisor, as a student. Then I'm going to talk about what role your research supervisor will play in your research. Then I'll also talk about the kind of relationship that you should build with your research supervisor. Then I'll summarize the presentation and bring it to a close. So let's get started. A research supervisor is usually a senior academic who teaches at a university or who also performs research at a university. The research student at the beginning of the research process would usually be assigned a supervisor, and the role of the supervisor is to help guide you through the research work. The reason why your supervisor will be given to you to guide you through the research work is that your supervisor has extensive knowledge and experience from so many years, of working with other students just like you, and your supervisor has also gone through the process before. So the experiences that a supervisor has can be very, very important for you. And throughout your research, your supervisor will be more like an academic parent to you, and you will be more like an academic child. So it's more like a parent-child relationship between the two of you within the academic space. And your supervisor will be there for you when you run into an obstacle or when you run into challenges. And the supervisor is there to ensure that they advise you, and then they explain things to you and point you in a direction where it can help you make progress eventually so you can end your research in peace. And because of the kind of relationship that must exist between you and the supervisor, it is very important that as a student you choose a supervisor who actually has the same research interest as you have, and a supervisor whom you can easily work with. The main role of your research supervisor during your research is to guide you academically, throughout the duration of your research. And the guidance is meant to advise you, to point you in the right direction so you can actually make progress with your research. And your supervisor must also engage you periodically on other aspects of your life, which also directly impact upon your research. These aspects may not necessarily be academic. They may be social, they may be financial, they may be emotional, they may be psychological. These things may not be related to the academic relationship between the two of you, but so long as these other things can actually impact positively or negatively on your research, your supervisor, from his own experience or from her own experience, can also engage you on these other things affecting you, so that they can advise you or they can point you in a direction where you can get help. Help that can help you go over these challenges so you can get back to work, basically. And your supervisor actually engages you based on the knowledge and experience that they've gathered, throughout the years, from dealing with students in the past, students who are just like you, basically. And it's the job of your supervisor that during the duration of your research, he or she should push you in order for the best to come out of you, so that at the end of the day you can have a fruitful research. And it's important that as a student you should learn not to take things personal, not to be too emotional during the research process, and that you also learn to take constructive criticisms from your supervisor and act accordingly. Now, so far as relationship go, it is important that as a student, you maintain good relationship between yourself and your research supervisor, because this good relationship will go a long way to help you complete your research in peace. A good relationship between the two of you, between you and your supervisor, can be built out of mutual respect that you have for each other. So you must have respect for your supervisor must also have respect for you, so the two of you can move forward together. It's as simple as that. And as a student, you are required to be humble so that you can learn all what you can from your supervisor. Humility would go a long way to help you. You need to also be patient, because once you're patient and humble, you can actually see things much deeper, than what ordinary person can actually see. And at no point in time should you, as a research student, fight your supervisor or challenge your supervisor on any issue. Instead, you should be dialoguing, rationalizing, and you should agree, and you should only do what has been agreed between the two of you to be done. It's that simple. You should never take things personal. You should never push your relationship to the point where you have to fight each other. No. You should only rationalize, agree on certain things that must be done, and you as a student go ahead and do exactly what has been agreed, and so you can move forward with the research. Because at the end of the process, once you're a student and you're well behaved, you will complete successfully and you complete peacefully. Because if you're well behaved and you have respect for your supervisor and you do exactly as has been agreed, your supervisor could actually even go the extra mile to sacrifice and even do things for you which can actually help advance your work, because there have been instances where supervisors have even helped their students, even financially, pointed them, to some personal relationships that actually helped them, to move faster with their work. The point here is that if you're not well behaved and you are rude or disrespectful to your supervisor, depending on the temperament of your supervisor may leave you alone and you'll be left on your own to deal with your challenges. And honestly, that will not help you in the long run. So in summary, your research supervisor, who will be given to you at the beginning of your research work, is usually a senior academic at the university, and they'll be assigned to you to help guide you, throughout the research work, so they can advise you, so they can help you jump over obstacles, so you can move forward with your research work. And your supervisor has a responsibility to ensure that you do the research work properly. Basically, it's a teamwork, but you are the one in front of the steering wheel. So your supervisor is there from experience and from the knowledge they've gathered over the years. They are there to ensure that you do the work properly, the way you're supposed to do it. And it's important that as a student, because this relationship will take place over a duration of time, that you build a good relationship with your supervisor. Because once you have a good relationship with your supervisor, things can move smoothly for you. Your supervisor can support you full length, and you can make progress with your research work. At no point in time should you ever fight with your supervisor or should you challenge your supervisor on any issue. Basically, what you have to do is to dialogue with your supervisor and agree on things that must be done. And whatever is agreed, you as a student, you go and you do exactly what has been agreed, and then you can move forward. Because at the end of the process or at the end of your research, a well-behaved student will always complete. But if you're not well-behaved, and you are fighting your supervisor, you have issues, whatever it is, it can actually stall progress. And in extreme cases, it can actually prevent you from completing your work, basically. And at the end of the day, you should understand that as a student, the work is more important to you than your supervisor. Your supervisor has already done his or her own several years back. They are just in an advisory position to help you so you can also complete yours at the end of the day. So the work is more important to you. So it means that you must commit first and put in seriousness into the work. Then your supervisor can come in and also support you based on the direction that you're taking. So this brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for making the time to watch.